Welcome to Vermontitude, a collaborative effort between Great Eastern Radio, the Brattleboro Reformer, and BCTV to bring you the stories behind the stories on the topics you want to learn more about. Because there's always more, so there'll always be Vermontitude. Hosted by me, Peter Fish Case. Welcome to Vermontitude. New episodes drop every Tuesday and can be found by going to Vermontitude.com, Reformer.com, Brattleboro.tv, and locally on Comcast Channel 1078. We come to you from our studios at the Innovation Box on Landmark Hill. I'm Peter Fish Case, and each week we cover the topics that are of concern to Windham County and the towns that reside within its borders. Joining us, talking about some SNAP benefits and other things today, is Josh Davis, who is the Executive Director of SEVCA. Good morning.
Good morning, Fish. Thanks for having me.
All right, let's get right into it. I mean, super scary things happening. Federal judges saying you can't do this, but the federal administration is continuing to do this. And of course, we are talking about the people who rely on this for their food. And the state of Vermont has stepped in. Tell us what's going on.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is there's a whole bunch of uncertainty. And so thanks for having me here this morning. What we want to try to do is just have a clear message so that if you do rely on these benefits, you can understand what's going to happen, because it is confusing. It's confusing for me as I follow what the back and forth of what's going on. And so in essence, because of the government shutdown, the federal government has said that SNAP benefits will not be covered in November. And so kudos to our leaders in this state legislators and the governor for pulling together a plan at really short notice. We didn't have a lot of lead time for this. And so Joint Fiscal Committee made a recommendation. We have an emergency board, which is the four heads of the finance committees in the House and the Senate that can meet with the governor out of session and can allocate funds. And so they met last week, allocated funds for SNAP. And what they said is there will be no interruption, potentially a small delay. And so on or before November 7th, people should receive their benefits, with the caveat that they only allocated half of the benefits for the first 2 weeks of the month.
Right.
So they didn't allocate the whole month. And why is that? Why not just allocate the whole month? Come on. Well, it's because they're operating under the assumption that they're not going to get reimbursed. And so this is about a $13 million decision if they were to allocate for the whole month. If the federal government opens back up, or if there is a court case that forces the hand of the federal government and they have to pay for benefits, then we can reserve those funds for other needs within the state.
Right. So as I understand it, it sounds like on the 7th, Vermonters using SNAP and that benefit will receive half.
So if your benefit is $200 for the month,
yep,
on or before the 7th, you will receive $100. Mm-hmm. And then there's another e-board meeting that is scheduled for November 13th. And at that time, they'll assess what's going on. Perhaps these court decisions will impact what's happening. Federal government will be paying for this benefit, and then there won't be more funds allocated. Or if there's some sort of disruption, and we're anticipating that we're not going to be able to make it through the month, then the assumption is that they will allocate the rest of the funds. Right.
So, I mean, definitely if you are relying on SNAP funds to feed, and I know that these funds, I mean, with the cost of everything going up, it even in its purest form and it's running seamlessly, it's still not enough.
It's still not enough. It's absolutely still not enough. And if you take this way, it's really not enough. And so It's vital that we keep SNAP benefits operating. In the 60 years of the program, we've never had an interruption like this. So I just want to point out the level of unprecedentedness that this situation is unfolding. And people rely on that. And in government shutdowns in the past, the benefits have continued to flow.
Right.
So it's just worth noting that. I would also add that with the uncertainty, with fear and anxiety that comes from that,
yes,
people are turning to their local food shelves, as they should. Mm-hmm. And so we're getting a lot of reports that local food shelves are being inundated with requests for food. The emergency board and the governor also allocated $250,000 to be channeled through the food bank to support local food shelves across the state. So I think it's important to point that out If folks are struggling to get from the end of the month until when the benefits are loaded back onto their card, please reach out to your local food shelves. They do have resources, and the benefits are still open. You can still sign up for SNAP benefits.
Right.
So if you're thinking about that, if you've been struggling, if you are experiencing some of the weight of the economic burdens that are going on right now, please do reach out, sign up for those benefits.
So I'll do a little bit of a shameless plug here. I know that I and Burroughs are organizing something called Cranksgiving that will happen this Saturday on the 8th. And it's basically trying to bring the bicycle community in to donate food and cash for these kind of things. Super important time to do that. So if you're looking for an outlet that's more immediate, that will come literally after people get half their SNAP benefits the day after that, and that realization hits home. Here's a nice outlet for you to contribute.
I think that's brilliant. Thank you for that. Thank you for your philanthropy over the years. You do Load the Latches. What is it, Fill the Opera House?
Overflow the Opera House.
Overflow the Opera House,
Every alliteration you can think of.
That's brilliant. And that was going to be my next thing that I said. The next point to make is, like, if you want to help out, supporting your local food shelf right now, volunteering, donating canned goods, donating money. You know, when I was at Groundworks, we used to always say, like, please give us food, but what we really need is the money, because we can really stretch it and we can target where we spend and what goes on the shelves depending on what the need is in the community. So thanks for your philanthropy and the work that you're doing.
No, I'm always happy to support. I don't believe anybody should go hungry. I think food is really, there's what's that? Water is life. Well, so is food.
So is food.
Yeah. The cash donation portion of this. I should let Josh speak a little bit more to that, but I'm just going to sort of lead the way in the conversation. Is super important because it allows these food shelves to buy exactly what they need. All right. If you're coming in with a flat of chickpeas, that's nice. But, probably peanut butter, something, and, think family-oriented type food, pasta sauce, peanut butter, these kind of things. It allows the food shelves to buy from the food bank exactly the food that they need.
Yeah, I couldn't say it better myself. That is exactly what I would say and encourage people. And a lot of times, food shelves publish a list of their most popular items. And so if folks really don't want to give the cash, they want to give the tangible, like canned good or peanut butter, those lists are available. Or you could even Google like top items at food shelves, and it's pretty ubiquitous. It's pretty universal.
Right. So while we're talking about the EBT cards, there are things that are not covered as long as we are talking about making philanthropic contributions.
Yeah.
There are things and goods that are not covered under an EBT card, correct?
Correct. Definitely care items for women and diapers and things like that fall outside of those benefits. And so food shelves are always asking for those additional items. You're putting me on the spot here. I'm having to go back into the recesses of when
You're fine.
when I was with Groundworks and Foodworks, and this was part of the mantra, especially this time of year when we were doing Load the Latches and going into, empty bowls is this time of year. And so this is the time that we are really gearing up as a community to support people. And this piece with the SNAP benefits makes that all the more challenging.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely, it's not an easy conversation to have, and it's a difficult time. If you're not impacted by any of this conversation, good for you. But you are impacted because you're a member of the community and you need to help.
Absolutely. And if I could pivot, I think it's gotten a little glossed over in this conversation with SNAP benefits is around LIHEAP. And so that is the heating assistance program. It's basically our emergency heat backbone in the state of Vermont and across the country. This is another federal program, and this has been interrupted with the government shutdown as well. And so the state has decided to allocate the funds, and it didn't need to go before the E-Board. And so that was a pretty simple decision for the governor. And so we just want to acknowledge that and thank the governor for his leadership around this. But what this applies is for seasonal fuel. And so how does this come into the community? And this helps, this goes directly to fuel dealers to fill tanks. Then we also have the crisis fuel program. So as we're talking about, it's really challenging for people. We have a lot of folks that are on a fixed income who are meticulous with how they spend money. And, when you fill up your oil tank, it's a $500, $600 charge, and people just don't have that in their budgets, especially when it hits it all at once.
Right.
And so crisis fuel is there to help with that. And then we also have the emergency heat program. So if somebody's furnace breaks down or is not operating properly during the wintertime, we can call this program and we can help support people getting their furnaces back online or even replace it if it's broken down.
Right. No, I think a lot of the things that SEVCA do are so understated and so important. And it's always been this organization that that sort of operates in the background and does all these things and coordinating these things. I don't think you guys get enough of the credit that you deserve for doing that. But
I appreciate that. I would agree with you. I think that we're one of the better kept secrets in this community. And so we're working really hard for people to know who we are and the work that we're doing and the impact that we have.
And you've only been around 60 years.
We've only been 60 years. So we're just getting started.
Like an old sob. We're just getting warmed up. Well, all right. So let's just recap quickly for the folks. So if you are watching this and you get SNAP benefits, you will get 50% of your SNAP benefits on the 7th. Discussions on the other 50% based on continued government shutdowns or some, game playing by our federal government.
That's right. I think I was heartened to hear that federal judges, there were actually 2 rulings on Friday that said, no, benefits have to go out.
Yeah.
And the thing that they're saying is there's a contingency for this. This has been allocated. This has been earmarked. So let's get it out there. I think what we're seeing is the administration slow walk things like this. So it's not clear if this would affect on or before the 7th, but it doesn't matter. If you have EBT, just know that on or before the 7th, you're going to get half of your benefits. And then we're going to be able to reassess after that.
All right. Very good. Josh Davis, thanks for jumping on the program as always. Kind of, hopefully this calms some people down and gives some clarity to a really rough situation.
I really hope this ages poorly, as of this afternoon, and the program is flowing. But nonetheless, I really appreciate your support, both for Cranksgiving, but also for having me on this morning to talk about what's going on with benefits. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.